What's up? What's good? It's your boy Dwayne Caliente, and I'm back with another video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome. I'm just happy to have y'all here with me. And yeah, we about to get into this thing today. So today's video, everyone I feel like should know how to do their brows. Your brows structure your face. I've seen some bomb ass makeup, some people with some really good like eyeshadow looks, but their brows be looking a little bit, I don't wanna be shading nobody, but if your brows ain't looking right, then it can like mess up the entire makeup look. A little bit about me, a little bit of my backstory. Before I started doing makeup, the first thing that I was doing was brows. Back in 2015, I went to the Sierra concert and my brows used to be super thin. And I was like, I'm not about to be up in front of Sierra. I was front row. Not about to be up in front of Sierra with some thin ass, sparse ass brows. So yeah, that's kind of a little backstory, but brows are super important. It shapes your face. It can make or break your makeup. So I'm about to show you how I do my signature brows on myself, on my clients, and yeah, let's get into this thing. All right, so as you can see, I already have my left brow done, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I achieve this look. It's super simple, super easy, but your brow's gonna be on point. So I just take my brush from Anastasia. It's just a regular angle brush, the number 7 brush. This is my travel one, and it has a spoolie on the end, so I'm taking that same brush. I'm gonna dip inside my pomade, my Anastasia pomade in shade Ebony. Ebony is just like a dark brown. That's just the color that I like on myself, but of course they have different shades, different ranges, so whatever color works for you, you can go ahead and pick that up. So after I'm dipping my brush inside of my pomade, I just want to make sure I have enough product. I don't want to have too much, so I just want to make sure that I wipe the excess off, but have enough to make sure that I'm actually applying product to my brow. I like to start at the middle of my brow because naturally your brows are a gradient, so they are a little bit light up front, and then as you get to the back of your brows, they're a little bit darker. So I always start at the middle of my brows like so, and I just take my pomade and go through my brow just to make sure that any sparse areas, any areas that you may not have hair, that it's gonna be looking full, looking defined, looking right, because like I said, your brows can make or break your look. And me personally, my brows are straight as hell, so I like to create myself a little bit of an arch. So what I do is take my pomade, and right above my brow, I just create a little bit of an arch. And it's literally okay if you mess up or if you have some mistakes, because that's what we're gonna use the concealer for. It's pretty much gonna be like an eraser, so it's just gonna get rid of that hole if you don't need it. So don't worry if you kind of like messed up. If you went a little bit bigger, we're gonna use that concealer to get everything right and get everything exactly how you want it. And whatever product is left on my brush, I just use that for the middle to the beginning of my brow, because I like my fronts to be a little bit more soft, a little bit more gradient effect. And then I'll take that spoolie end and I'll just brush all my product through just to make sure that everything's blended in with my actual brows really well. My tail's a little bit thick, but I'm gonna fix that, don't worry. So after I have the pomade through my brow, have all my sparse areas filled in, I like to take a brow powder just to set everything in place, because if you're going out for the night, I mean, the last thing you want to worry about is your brows going somewhere, everything moving around. So I like to set everything in place. That's one thing about makeup, set that hole in place, because you don't want that hole to move. You got to be looking right from start to finish whenever you go out or anything like that. So I like to use a dark brown powder to set my brows in place. And I just go over everywhere that I put pomade. And I'm just gonna use the same technique. I start at the middle I apply a lot of pressure, and then once I get to the beginning, I use whatever product is left on the brush, and I just use that. Same thing, I like to brush everything in place. So to really set your brows in place after that, I just like to make sure like my makeup, my everything is super secure. I don't want that hoe going nowhere, so I go ahead and take a brow gel. And this acts like glue, so if you have hairs that don't want to stay in place very well, then I will recommend getting a brow gel. And this is gonna just make sure that my actual hairs stay in the direction that I want them to be in. Me personally, I always take my front hairs and I brush them up, and then as I get towards the back, I brush them to the back like so. And that's pretty much just glue for your brows. And a little trick that I like to use a lighter shade than the pomade that I'm using, so that my natural hairs can kind of like stand out a little bit more. And when you put your brow gel in, it just makes everything look super cohesive, and it makes your actual hair stand out above the pomade, and it makes everything look a little bit more natural to me. So that's why I like to use it. And then also my hairs, they stay exactly in the direction that I want them to be in. So after I go ahead and have that, I'll take my spoolie one more time, and I'll just brush that brow gel through my brows. And it's the same process, just like when you're doing your makeup. You want to blend, but you got to do the same thing with your brows. You got to blend that product through. So after I blend that brow gel through, then I want to take a concealer underneath first, and what I want to do is go ahead and erase any imperfections that I may have, anything that I don't want to be there. And I go 1 to 2 shades lighter than my actual foundation shade. So I'm gonna take my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in shade Medium Tan Golden, which is a couple shades lighter than my actual foundation. And I use that only underneath my brows, and that's just gonna clean up any imperfections that I have, anything that I don't wanna be there. And I just wanna make my brows look as popping as possible. And you don't wanna be stingy with your concealer. You wanna make sure your brush is really coated with your concealer, but you wanna make sure it's like really flat as well, because you want your brows to be super snatched, super defined, and looking right. And like me, I don't have that much of an arch in my natural brows. So anytime I'm doing my makeup, I wanna create a little bit more of an arch. So I bring that concealer a little bit higher up where my arch would be at if I had one. Makeup is all about an illusion, so you can get whatever kind of look you want to get. I like to have a little bit more of an arch, so I just go a little bit higher where I would like my arch to be. And then after you pretty much have your shape, you just want to drag that concealer down. And I use this, whatever concealer that I use to clean up my brows, I use that as my eyeshadow base. So I just drag it down like so. I take a beauty blender. The one I'm going to use today is just from Real Techniques. And you just want to blend that concealer out. And then for the top of your brows, I always use the foundation that you're gonna use on your skin. So if you're gonna do a full face of makeup, just make sure that you're not using that bright ass concealer on the top as well, because your brows are gonna look like a halo and you're gonna look crazy. So just make sure that you get your concealer at the bottom, and then whatever your foundation shade is that you're using for the day, you just wanna use that on top. And for the top of my brows, I'm going to take a MAC 252S brush, looks like this, and I'm gonna dip into my foundation shade. I'm gonna take my Real Technique sponge and I'm just gonna blend that foundation out from the top of my brows. And now I just take like a little look back. I just wanna make sure that you know, your brows look as similar as possible. If you see anything that you need to add, just go back inside your pomade, go ahead and add it. If you feel like you need to conceal a little bit more, just go back and forth, just until you get the desired results of your brows. Take your time, because like I said, brows can make or break your look. No matter how bomb your makeup looks, I feel as if your brows are trash, then it's just trash. And then last thing I like to do, I just like to take a pencil. This right here is just a pencil from Wet n Wild. It costs $1 at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, any drugstore, Target. And I just lightly create like little fake hair scrubs at the beginning. I take my same spoolie. I just brush it in, brush it up, make sure everything is smooth, everything is natural. Take a look back and make sure that I'm happy with the result. And this is how I do my brows. This is how I do it on my clients. This is how I do it on everybody. It's a super easy technique. And if you want your brows to last all night, I've had events where I've had to start at like 5, 6 in the morning and be doing stuff all day, and at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours later, my brows still look bomb as hell. Everything's still in place. So yeah, this is the Wayne Caliente brow, and just follow these little quick, easy techniques and you can get it too.